Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to jump into the team and we're going to have a little bit of collaborative fun. So some of you have probably played around in the Google space and others in the Microsoft space where you have seen something like this, right? The ability to collaborate and to be on shared documents all at the same time. And we do hear a lot, even though we've been able to do this for, 8 to 10 years, people do come back to us often and say, oh, at our school, people say they want to use Google because they want to be able to X. And really the experience in both cloud-based platforms is very, very similar. There are some things that we do better and there are some things that they do better. And dare I say it, 3 months later, that could change and that they're doing it better or we're doing it better. And that's the nature of, the way that technology is upgraded and, and updated. No longer do we need to wait 3 years for the new version of Office. As I said before, you can get the new version of Office every couple of weeks when there's updates. So, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into the team and I'm going to, actually I need to open my browser. Just give me a moment to do that. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do, save myself doing it in the browser. I'm going to drag it up here so you guys can see it up here. And you can see here I'm in dark mode. Hopefully you can still see that. But what we're going to do is we're going to come into our general channel. Okay, so you can follow along if you want with me, but sooner or later you're going to have to do this yourself, so pay attention, okay? So we come into the general channel, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up into Files, okay? And I'm going to create a new document in here, okay? So as you would expect, I'm just going to click on New. I could create a new folder and be in there in subdirectories and all that kind of stuff, which is great, but I can create these basic Word documents inside Teams. Now, the cool thing about doing it inside Teams means that it's saved in the school's shared space. It's not saved in my personal OneDrive space, which means that I'm not having to create documents and share it out to everyone. I'm creating it in Teams. It's automatically shared out to everyone, and I'm not taking it with me when I move schools. So I'm going to create a new Word document here. I'm going to call it STP 2021.2, which is what you guys are. It's actually financial year 21.2, and I'm going to create that document. Now, what you'll notice happens is it kicks off Word in the browser inside Teams. So I could have done this from OneDrive. I could have done this from office.com and launched the browser, etc. But instead I've done it from Teams. I'm going to close this document down again. So BF, you can hop out of this document. Out you hop. No, didn't ask you to do that. Out of my document. Come on. Here's my classroom management skills coming in. So I'm going to get you just to click the little close button there and jump out of the document. And we're going to come back into here. So the rest of you guys can now come into the general channel, come into Files. And what I want you to do is I want you to click on this file here, and I want you to come into the document. So this is the hands-on bit, people. So you do need to do this. So we'll come into the document. I was only kidding about kicking you out of my document. You're welcome to it. And now what I'm going to do is, please don't type on my document or I will put on my year one teacher voice. I swear to you I will. I'm going to put a table in there. Okay, so you saw how I did it. If you know how to use Word, then you know how to use Word Online or Word in the browser or Word in Teams, right? And those of you that haven't seen the new version of Word, when you upgrade your system, it's going to look very much like this when you install. So what I'm going to get you guys to do is I'm going to get you to each take a field, a rectangle here, and I want you to put your name, and I want you to bold your name, embolden your name. And then what I want you to do in the same field, I want you to put your 5 favorite foods to eat and your five favorite holiday destinations. Okay? So your 5 favorite foods to eat and your 5 favorite holiday destinations. And Abigail, just because of the size of your field there, don't dot point them or number them. Yeah, because it just plays up inside the field. Someone's already playing around with the document. See, someone's dragged that there. I'm just going to drag that back. No, it's not going to let me. That's okay. Yeah, 5 favorite foods to eat, 5 favorite holiday destinations. Julianne, we're guessing you like chocolates. Kevin, is that curry and pizza or curry pizza? 25 years ago, we would have laughed at curry pizza, but nowadays it's a thing.
Now separate.
Separate, okay.
Sorry, silly Molly, so just muting.
Stacey, I like how you put sushi and then seafood. And Dave, I'm not sure, are your, is everything in bold because you just hit enter after bolding your name? You don't need to have all those things in bold if you don't want to. Carolyn's gone in another color. I'm a fan of Carolyn. Good job. Do I say Femia or Femia? How do I say your name? It's just you're putting chocolate as a question mark. I think you should look at Julianne's field and you'll see that there is no question. All right, if you're feeling brave, inside your field there, I want you to try and work out how to throw in a graphic. And if you know how to use Word, then you know how to do this, all right? But I want you to put in a graphic of one of your pictures, sorry, a picture of one of your holiday destinations or one of your foods. Just one graphic is fine. Okay, so Cindy's done it very well.
Oh.
That's all right, Kevin. You haven't broken anything. You just need to reduce the size of that graph.
So why it is not coming there? I try to type.
You're getting a monologue from someone. I'm just going to mute you, assuming that you didn't want us to hear that. All right, very good. Okay, so you can see the collaboration, right? Now, I want to point out, right, and please, big takeaway, you can collaborate in the full version, okay? But it's not going to be as quick, it's not going to be as seamless, it's not going to be immediate. So whilst we can share a document down in the full version of Word, it's better up here in the cloud version, okay? See, even I'm using the cloud as being up here. So keep that in mind. And some of the collaborative experience in something like Whiteboard or OneNote is going to be superior to what we're experiencing in Word. It's easy in Word for you to all see how that works. And did you hover over somebody's flag? And did you see what happens when you hover over their flags? It actually tells you who they are. And I can also look up here and see who's in my document as well. All right. Now, when I bring you into the document, you can do whatever you want in this document. So you could delete, remove other people's stuff, the whole bit. If we're wanting more control over the collaboration, then we're going to have a better time in OneNote and in the class notebook, but nevertheless, similar kind of experience. Any questions about that? Nope. Okay. Coming into the chat, can you just give me an emoji of some sort? It doesn't matter, thumbs up, smiley face, if you have not done this before. You may have seen it before, but if you've not done this before, can you just put a smiley or an emoji in the chat?
Chat.
Yeah, a couple of people. Okay, good. All right. So, yeah, as I said, the reason why I share this, and you may want to do this as an activity just one day in the in a staff meeting or with your pilot group, however you're going to do it, just roll this out, right? Don't assume that everyone's seen it. Don't assume that everyone knows how to do it. And it's also a good way to just start the conversation rolling of, oh, yeah, you can do that in Microsoft. We don't have to use Dropbox or we don't have to use Google. We can move all that over. And especially if people are running their own little private versions, you know, with sensitive school documents and all that kind of stuff, we want to make sure that people are using the department tenant and the department space. All right, very good. You can jump out of that. And who said, oh, I just missed that. Who said kimchi?
I did.
Whose I did?
Parky.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, Parky, I lived in Korea for 2 years. 안녕하세요. And my wife is Chinese, but she loves Korean food, and she made kimchi jjigae last night.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
great.
and I know Korean food quite well, and she did a very good job with the kimchi jjigae.
Fantastic. Yeah.
너무너무 좋아요.
너무너무 좋아요. 네, very good.
감사합니다. All right, very good. All right, so let's jump out of the document. And tonight, I said to my wife, we have a family food court Friday. And my wife wants to take the kids and go to Nene Chicken. I don't know if you've got that in Adelaide, but we've got that in Melbourne now, Nene Chicken. All right, very good. All right, coming back to our little presentation. We're not going to spend time on this, but just questions to think about. Just because of time, what might be the points of etiquette a group needs for creating a collaborative document? You know, you can see that I created fields so everyone had somewhere to type, because people will type over the top of each other, and working with students, as you can imagine, it just goes crazy. So what challenges might surface when using it with colleagues and or students? And why is experiencing collaboration an important training activity? Hopefully you heard that. I said it about 4 times, but yeah, we'll keep moving, eh? All right, let's talk about Minecraft. Can I get a, in the chat, can I get a, with your emoji, I want you to give me a smiley face emoji or a laughing emoji or something positive if you've played Minecraft, if you've used it before, but if you haven't, give me some sort of negative emoji, like you'll see there's vomiting emojis and devil emojis and all that kind of stuff. Just throw a positive one if you've used Minecraft or you've used it in school or you play it yourself, a positive emoji. And then if it's a, if you don't, then just give me some sort of negative emoji so I can get a sense, okay? Cool. All right, very good. So some people have used it and some people haven't, and that's okay. So Minecraft is, when I first got this job, my son, who's now about to turn 16, but he came to me and he said, oh, Dad, that's so exciting. This is, 5 years ago, right? He goes, oh, Dad, that's so exciting. Microsoft own Minecraft now, we can play Minecraft together. And I'm like, yes, son, we can play Minecraft together. It'll be awesome. And I've been in the job, as I said, I'm in my 5th year now. How many times in the chat, how many times do you think I have played Minecraft with my son? 0, good job, you got it. And yet I run workshops for teachers about using Minecraft in school. So there's 2 kinds of people that, and actually I shouldn't say 2 kinds of people, there's a spectrum, okay, with 2 extremes. And one is, at one end, you've got the teachers that use Minecraft, that play it with the kids, that immerse themselves, they're in-game, they're in there doing amazing things, and they're, backslash commands and all kinds of amazing stuff that's going on. And I'm not that, but some of my colleagues are, right? And they'll get in and make it rain chickens, and they're doing coding and all that kind of exciting stuff. Then at the other end, there's the other kind of teacher that uses Minecraft, that doesn't give a damn about Minecraft and doesn't care to play the game, but they've seen the potential for using it as a teaching tool, okay? And that's where I sit. I am 100% convinced, and not just because I'm branded and paid by Microsoft, I'm 100% convinced that this is a really, really useful tool for us as teachers. But the key is to work out how to use it if we're not in game, and also to use it purposefully, right? So we're not going to do a Minecraft, a whole dedicated Minecraft time and work out, how to use it and all that kind of stuff. That's not what we're doing. But there is a Minecraft channel in our team. And if you're new to Minecraft, this will be a good place to start. And I know that the department are looking at launching some Minecraft trainings and Minecraft cluster activities and that kind of stuff through your networks and clusters. So keep an eye out for that as well. But I'm going to show you this video first. I'm going to stop sharing, make sure that I've shared my audio. This is a great little video about Minecraft. This video, the only problem I really have with this video, besides it not being Australian, is that it shows mostly primary school using Minecraft. This is certainly right up to year 10, okay, in what you can do with Minecraft. So please don't just see this as a primary school thing, but overall, we're really looking, using it really, really well as a teaching tool. We're looking from we say about grade 2 to grade 10, but there are exceptions for, reception to 1 and also SACE as well, believe it or not. You'll see what I mean as we go on. So let's watch this little video on Minecraft.
Minecraft is changing the way people learn already. It's already having a major effect. I've described it this weekend as an awakening.
I was truly learning with and from my students.
These teachers see the excitement with the students, the level of engagement. I think it makes them realize that this is what I got into teaching for.
If the kids are so incredibly passionate about this game, there's obviously value in it to them.
It's not that it helps kids learn different. They've been learning that way. They've been learning through gaming. It helps us see the way that they learn different. And I think that is the biggest game changer.
Minecraft is the one tool I found where the collaboration is incredible.
There's a lot of potential where we have students and teachers can come into the same space and interact together.
Hey, wait, is this part right here, this part right here?
When we give them the license and just give them the challenge, we want you to do project X, Y, or Z. Teach us what you know about biomes. Show us a sustainable build. Show us what you know about volume. They're very comfortable in that environment, and it's really powerful to watch that happen.
I've never seen a more empowering tool for kids to use to create.
The students have a lot of ownership. They have a lot of autonomy, a lot of agency in that space.
You talk about the same experiences that computer programming gives, where you're allowed to fail and you're allowed to do things. Minecraft provides that same experience. My favorite line is build a house, and the magic happens when you do that. To walk into the world that a child has created and to see their excitement, to watch their eyes light up. It is something that you honestly have to experience at least once in your life.
They are able to connect what they're doing, their actions, in this seemingly play game environment, but they begin to make connections to their learning. And when they're doing that, you're only bounded by your imagination. The sky is really the limit.
It's so often, I guess, these times in education when we feel like we can't take a leap and do something that isn't planned, that isn't tested, that isn't something that fits into the confines of a textbook. But when you look at kids loving learning and learning that we didn't define, nothing speaks louder than that.
My feeling is let's tap into the way kids learn, let's embrace that and let's bring that into the classroom. And when we can do that, we've really, made something happen.
The dynamic of the classroom has really changed.
It's refreshing to see that kids want to be creative. Kids want to have this just clean, open slate to do whatever they can or want or dream.
That doesn't happen in classrooms normally. But I think more and more Minecraft is going to be able to help people figure out a collaborative digital future that they would have never imagined otherwise.
Okay, very good. So one of the important things to note is that Minecraft Education Edition is the full version of Minecraft. Why is that doing that? It is the full version of Minecraft, but it's got all these education features that we've wrapped around it, all right? And some of the things that we started in Minecraft Education Edition that were education tools have become were so popular that they moved into the regular version of Minecraft as well. But one of the differences, first and foremost, is the coding. So coding, and this is for those that are thinking digital technologies curriculum, coding happens inside the Education Edition. You can bring in Make Code, which is Microsoft's coding language, but you can also bring in external languages like Scratch and Tinker. So if your school has already gone down the path of teaching the kids to code in Scratch or Tinker, you can bring those languages inside Minecraft. And so you've got this little agent here who may or may not be a female, and you can code her. And so what's happening here is the student actually builds the code, and then it's a split screen experience. So as they as they start to execute their codes, they can watch what happens with the code, and they can try and fail and try and succeed. And that's what's going on. Now, we've also got Python, which is another language that's been brought into Minecraft Education Edition, or you can also go straight across to full JavaScript as well. So you've got the block coding when they're starting, and then they go off into full block coding there. So coding is a big part, right? So this is where you can be teaching your digital technologies curriculum in a way where students are going to be really engaged and really enjoy themselves because they know Minecraft. The other thing to note is that Minecraft, you will not need to teach your children how to play Minecraft, except for maybe some sort of, and I say this not to be controversial, you may have some, uber religious child whose parents don't let them play video games and that kind of thing. Besides those children, every other child in that classroom is going to know how to play Minecraft. And not that there's anything wrong with that child and their family, right? But that's just the reality. They all know how to play Minecraft. And so you can bring your knowledge of the curriculum and matching up really intentional learning activities with their knowledge of the game, okay? You don't need to know how to play Minecraft. No? Okay, so the other thing that we've done, and this started off in Education Edition, which is now in the full version. Anyone who knows how to play Minecraft will know that you can play around with chemistry in Minecraft now. So you can set the number of protons, electrons, and neutrons, and you can be creating elements in the Minecraft world, which can then be taken down into the Minecraft world and used. You can combine them with the compound creator, all right? So you can, two of hydrogen, one of oxygen, throw it out into the Minecraft world, and you've got water, and you can be doing things there as well. What we've also built is we've built a reducer table, which means that you can take elements, you can take things from the Minecraft world, and then you can reduce it on the reducer table and see what compounds and what elements are there. So you can be doing science in Minecraft. We've also got a lab table, which means that you can be simulating experiments as well. So if you're using expensive or dangerous chemicals, God forbid we'd ever do that with the darlings, you can be simulating that in the Minecraft world, right? And this is where it can be used as high as SACE, because they can be simulating experiments in the Minecraft world through chemistry. But it's much more than just science, it's much more than STEM. As I mentioned before, a French teacher was having her Year 9 girls building French Renaissance Village and chatting with each other in French in the Minecraft world. You can be doing things like maths, area, perimeter, etc. You can be doing things like civics and politics. Students can be building civilizations inside Minecraft. They can be building towns and cities and all kinds of stuff. And there's things, people have built worlds that we can access through the Education Edition. Things like, the Forbidden City during the Tang Dynasty is there waiting for you. There's Harry Potter worlds. There's whole heaps of stuff that are available to you, and it's all been paid for by the department. And every teacher, every staff member, every student has a Minecraft license, which is their Office 365 credential. All right, now I've harped on this a little bit, but I do want to show you this video. This is a real teacher in a real situation where she's talking about not knowing much about Minecraft and yet still being able to use it in her classroom. And I really want to stress this, because as much as there's 10% of you are there going, hey, I know Minecraft, 90% of you are going, yeah, I've heard of it, of course, but how do we use it? And I want to really allay your fears that there's systems in place to make it very easy for you to engage and use it with your students without needing to know all about it.
You don't have to be an expert at playing Minecraft. You don't have to be a gamer. A year ago, I didn't know how to place a block in Minecraft. I'm still not good, but my students are amazing. And as long as I can, set the assignment, they're good to go.
Yeah, now we're going to play Minecraft. And I was so excited to play Minecraft like one whole day. But make something that has to do with school at the same time. For years and years, I've heard my students talking about the game they've been playing.
I was first introduced to Minecraft last year, and I got over the fact that, you know, it doesn't matter that I'm not an expert at building, and I'm not a gamer. And once I learned that and I acknowledged that, I just got started. And, you know, haven't looked back since. I mean, they love it. They love that they can teach me stuff for once.
Yeah, I know a lot more than her. When she started, she wasn't that good at Minecraft, so she's already learned a lot. She has a lot to learn, like a lot.
For educators, it's always super hard to let go of control. The fact is, though, that that's when our students thrive, and they love when we let go of control and when we meet them where they are. I really see there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of collaboration, there's a lot of critical thinking going on while they build in Minecraft.
I think it's easier to like build it and understand it than like write it on a paper and understand it.
When you want to get started with Minecraft in education, I would go to the Minecraft Education Edition website. There are a ton of resources, worlds, tutorials, mentors you can ask for help. There are like lesson plans you can just grab and do in your classroom. And also joining the Minecraft community, where like a ton of teachers from all over the world can help you get started and tell you how to use Minecraft in the subject you teach.
Okay, very cool. Someone said, it's Abigail said that Minecraft was being used really well in language learning, which is true, which is fantastic. Glad that you're aware of that. Can you get kids to construct their own sandwiches? Yes, you can. You can even get them to construct their own sandwich trucks if you wanted. Yeah, so Minecraft is, the potential is really there. Coming to our team, we have a Minecraft channel over here, channel 6. And there I've got some resources for you. Minecraft Australia landing page, Minecraft Education Edition Australian landing page, has some materials there. Hopefully that's going to open because I'm in the browser, I think. We've got some materials there. It's even been mapped to the Australian curriculum, to a point anyway, not the entire curriculum. So you can download the Australian starter kit and bits and pieces in there. There's challenges, there's Minecraft mentors in Australia, teachers that are already, you know, further down the path than you can reach out to them. Someone built Minecraft, Melbourne in Minecraft, and so that's there as well. Yeah, there's just some really cool stuff in there, but there's worlds, there's lesson plans, training for you, all here on this website here, and that is, it's a link here, but it's education.minecraft.net/Australia, or you can come into the team, click on that little thing there, and that'll take you into your own browser. All right, Stacey, we're nearly there, I promise. Okay, I'm watching you, but I get it. I feel the same, and it's Friday, so we're going to get there. All right, so jump back in there and have a little look later on. Now, the next thing I want to share with you is our inclusive classroom. The inclusive classroom, we are doing a dedicated day on, actually there's 3 choices that you have. And so some people from your school are coming along to this. If it's not you and it's something that you want to get involved with, I would love you to be a part of this day. I am also the accessibility lead for the Australian education team, and I love this part of what I do. It's really making a difference, and it's really making a difference to, you know, not just individual kids, but groups of kids. And yeah, so we're going to unpack a little bit of this and have a little bit of a play and see it quickly. But if I whet your appetite, go and see your principal and ask them if you can come along to one of the inclusive classroom days, and Cindy can help you out with the dates. But we have 4 areas that we think about with the inclusive classroom, and that is reading support, and Microsoft have tools to help with reading support, writing support, math support, and then of course speaking and listening. But I mean, right there, to be talking to any sort of school leader or teacher and say, we're going to help you with your literacy standards and numeracy standards, you're going to certainly grab their attention. And the fact that we use technology means that it's a lot more fun for the students. So we have this thing called Immersive Reader. Give me a thumbs up. It can be literal, or it can be in the chat if you've heard of Immersive Reader before. But Immersive Reader, yeah, Immersive Reader is an amazing tool that came out of a hackathon at Microsoft. It is now across so many of our tools, and it assists with literacy. We've got things like word prediction in Windows 10 as well. So that means that no matter where the student is, when they start typing words, it's actually going to bring up some suggestions for them. We've got Dictate as well, and Dictate is across Windows as well as Office. So students can be dictating their emails, they can be dictating their stories. So whether you've got, you know, sort of occupational therapy issues that are in the way of the student, or you know, mobility issues, these kinds of stuff, Dictate is really quite useful. We've got Editor, which used to be spell check in the tools now, which has become far more intuitive, and there's, you know, far more the artificial intelligences that are behind it are far richer, and they're very, very strong support for writing. We've also got what's called the Ease of Access Center on your Windows 10 device. And the Ease of Access, what Ease of Access does is it puts everything that's going to make your device easier to use in the one location. So you may not have known that it was there. You can go into your settings, type in Ease of Access into your search if you're on Windows 10, and you'll see you can change, you know, the sound, contrast, display, everything that makes your device more accessible now lives in the one spot. And so teaching children, teaching families about this is really key. So we'll be exploring that next week in the Inclusive Classroom workshop. We've got things like Translator. Language schools, take note if you haven't already seen Translator. Translator can be used as a great assistive technology tool in teaching second languages, EAL, etc. Let alone the fact that it lives on a phone and can be used in the real world. I had a great time. I was in China a couple of years back, and I was using this, and it will actually, I can talk to it and it will talk back to me in Chinese. It's phenomenal. Office Lens is another app for your phone that will scan documents using the camera, and then it will actually read them to you and give you a full immersive reader experience. Accessibility Checker is another one that we can optimize our documents to make them as accessible as possible. Automatic alt text means that built into Word and PowerPoint, etc., it will create descriptors for your graphics, which means people on, and it'll do that through an artificial intelligence. It'll look at the photo and create a descriptor for you, so people with screen readers can access, you know, your PowerPoint slides and other things. And we don't have to be building that; the device does it for us. And then, of course, there's Microsoft Stream, which is your little YouTube inside the department space. It will create automatic transcriptions, and it will, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, it's late. It will decide who's speaking, and when it creates a transcript, it'll, anyway, I'm having trouble, I've gone blank. But hopefully you know what I'm trying to say. Attribution for who's doing what. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. All right, so again, we will unpack a lot of this in our Inclusive Classroom Day. But what I will do, just really quickly, is I'll take you and give you a very quick demo of learning tools, which is Immersive Reader. So we've got the Inclusive Classroom Channel 7 here. And then if you come into Files, oh, up here there's some really good videos and bits and pieces for you, a video playlist, etc. But if I come into Files, hopefully my demos are here. No, it's not. So I'm going to create a new document. And I'm going to call this Inclusive Classroom 2021. Yeah, I don't usually do the demo, so I haven't got a demo in here, but I'll take you guys through it. So this is Word Online, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Dictate. Okay, so I'm just going to click here and I'm going to turn on Dictate, and then I'm quickly going to turn it off because I want to just make sure that my settings are right. See, it's listening for US English. So I'm going to change that to to English Australia. So it's listening for my accent. Okay, so these are just some little tricks that you can do. And then over here, I've got help, okay, which is just give me some basic instructions about what I can do. All right. Now I'm just going to make sure that my auto punctuation, I can make it auto punctuate, but I'd like to turn my punctuation off so that as a student, if I was using this as a student, I have to punctuate as I go. Profanity filter, let's turn it off. We're all adults here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click up here. I'm going to start my dictation and go, once upon a time, there was a little boy who was very good with writing, full stop. The problem was though, comma, he had trouble getting his ideas on the page, full stop. New line. Later, he was able to see some really cool things. Delete sentence. Delete sentence. New line. Oh, I don't want animals in the new. Delete sentence. Delete sentence. So anyway, let's keep going from here. Comma, open quotes, isn't this exciting? Question mark, exclamation point, close quotes. All right, so this has really matured. Cindy can tell you that when I was doing this demo a few years ago, the things that I was doing then about delete line, and you can say things like delete word and make that bold and all kinds of stuff, it's really, really matured. But what that means is the student that has got the ideas in their head but can't get them out on paper can be using dictate. Now, what happens to the student though that also can't read their own writing? And any of you who've worked in early years, you know that's a lot of the kids, right? Let alone kids with diagnosed issues. But we come up here and we click on review, and then we click on, oops, sorry, it's view, not review, view, and then we click on immersive reader. And what happens is immersive reader kicks in. Now I've actually set this to the way I want it. So regardless of what the original text looks like, every time I come into immersive reader on this machine, it's going to remember exactly how I had my settings, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I can change my text size by increasing and decreasing. This is all happening inside the document. Actually, I want to just remove those distractions of the app as well. So I'm just going to maximize that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase or decrease my spacing, okay? Because I may be dyslexic and spacing between the letters, lines, and words is going to make a difference. We've got three very simple fonts which lend themselves to dyslexia. They are very simple, very clear, very concise. I can change my colors. All right, if I want to, I can have dark mode. If I've got source formatting, bold, italic, underline, I can turn that off or turn that on, depending on what was in the original document. But where it gets really cool is this.
Once upon a time, there's a little boy who was very good with writing. The problem was, though, he had trouble getting his ideas on the page. So anyway, let's keep going from here. Isn't this exciting?
You guys could hear that? Can someone give me a thumbs up? You could actually hear that? Yeah, okay. Hopefully for you coming across the across call, it was in sync, but it was in perfect sync for me. So what that means is that that little boy or that little girl, unable to get their writing onto page, unable to read their own writing, is now able to do exactly that. So I saw a story, heard a story from a tutor who was saying that the little year 9 boy that she was working with who had learning difficulties was able to demonstrate that he understood the structure of a narrative. In the past, he could never get out and do his his introduction, his sequence of events, his conclusion. He could never demonstrate that he understood that because he couldn't get his ideas out on paper. But she realized that it was these other barriers, not his understanding of the narrative, when he was able to do it like this. So it can be a real game changer. The other thing about this, remembering, is these tools are all ubiquitous to Office. And your Office has got a 99.7% saturation rate. So the students are taking this with them when they go to high school, when they go to university, when they go to the workforce, when they go to TAFE, wherever it is they go, they can take these tools with them. So we're preparing them for the skills they need in future work and life. But that's what this looks like. I can also highlight, as you can see there, I can highlight my nouns, my verbs, my adjectives. I can change the colors of those. And I want to show you something that's really cool. If I come back into the original, I'm just going to say, let's play tag. I will tag you first, right? So let's imagine that we've done that. Goodness me, doggies, stop it. So let's imagine that I've done that through dictate, but when I come back into Immersive Reader, look at what happens. Immersive Reader sees, let's play tag as a noun. I will tag you first as a verb. The artificial intelligence is actually determining the parts of speech by context, right? So phenomenal, really, really good. And if a student really has trouble with the colors, we can show the labels like that. I'm going to close that door because these two kids are killing me. Come on. I realise when I walk away, you're probably seeing I've got tracky dacks and slippers on. And yeah, welcome to work from home. You guys are the same, I know it. I can do things like line focus, okay, reduce distractions even further. I've got the picture dictionary as well. The picture dictionary is fun because what that does is when I click on a word, I can hear it.
Problem.
But I can also get picture prompts as well. And that's powered by BoardMaker. So anyone who knows BoardMaker is going to know that that's a really good tool. Not every word, all right, but some. Okay, pretty cool, hey? Yeah, look at that. Here, fair enough. All right. We can also translate. School of Languages are probably already across this, but we can translate. So let's go into something like, let's do this for you, Parky. Let's go into Korean. Okay, and let's translate. So now what happens is, once upon a time, there's a little boy who was very good with writing. What's this word here, writing? Now, any Korean who's gone to Hagwon will know what writing is because we know that, don't we, Parky? But the student might click on it and see it and hear it in English.
Right.
And see it and hear it in Korean.
쓰기.
All right.
Getting.
얻기.
All right. But we can also translate the entire document into Korean, not just word by word. And look at that. It's even got the parts of speech in Korean for us.
옛날 옛적에 글쓰기에 아주 좋은 어린 소년이 있습니다. 문제는 그래도 그는 페이지에 자신의 아이디어를 얻기에 문제가 있었다. 그래서 어쨌든 여기에서 계속 가자. 이 흥미진진한 아닌가요?
So Parky, what are you going to give that out of 10?
Well, I would say 6 or 7 out of 10.
6 or 7 out of 10, which isn't bad, really, if you think about it, 6 or 7. And was that because of the structure?
Because there
or
were
was it
different the speech levels were used in each sentence. So one is starting with
So are you talking about the honorifics? Are you saying it's formal and informal?
Yes, informal and polar, and formal and and polar, and a little bit.
Which is a very Korean response, that it has to be done because the Korean language is all about who you're speaking to and when you're speaking to them.
That's right.
That's right. So that's a very Korean response, that it's about polite and polite. But for us Australians, as long as we can understand that's what it's saying, it's in there. Does anyone else speak another language? Come off mute and tell me if you speak another language. Come on, you diverse bunch. Someone's got to speak something.
Does Pig Latin count?
Pig Latin does not count, sorry. Nepali.
Spanish?
I don't know if we've got Nepali. Let's have a look. Yes, we do. Let's see how good this is. So let's do a whole... Now, remember, my tenses are actually mistaken here, so it's probably going to mess that up. But let's have a look. Let's translate the entire document into Nepalese. Now, please notice what's happening with Nepalese is we haven't got the ability to listen to it. We've lost parts of speech. So it really depends on the language.
Okay.
What things are there, right? Anybody else? Did I see somebody else? They are tough judges, those Koreans. Ben, it's true.
Chinese.
I remember I used to speak Korean and people would say to me afterwards, you know, you speak Korean so rudely. It's like, I know, I speak Korean. Someone else? Chinese. Yeah, what kind of Chinese? What kind of Chinese?
Mandarin.
Sorry?
Mandarin?
Mandarin? Mandarin from Taiwan? Mandarin from China?
China. It's the same anyway.
It is, but the accent is different, right? So that's what we've got there. So when we start moving into these languages, same with, so Singaporean is going to be Mandarin with a Singaporean accent, China from China, Taiwan from Taiwan, right? So let's go into Chinese from China. And again, my tenses in here are wrong, so hopefully it's not going to be too bad. We've lost the parts of speech.
Did you say that was China? That's like traditional Chinese.
Oh, sorry, I went into Chinese traditional. My simplified. There we go. My fault. Sorry about that.
Can't hear the audio.
You can't hear the audio?
No.
Did I not share that then?
从前有个小男孩写得很好，问题是，虽然他很难得到他的想法在页面上，所以无论如何，让我们继续从这里，这不是令人。
So you can hear the accent and the voice is very natural sounding. It's not Stephen Hawking, it's not stunted, it's not robotic. And that really depends, different languages have got better quality than others, all right? So that's there. But remembering we're seeing that from a language as an EAL or a second language LOT sort of example. But what we saw at the very beginning was someone that was challenged by some sort of cognitive impairment or dyslexia or something like that, and being able to use that tool in there. So lots to unpack when we come together for the class next week, the inclusive classroom stuff. But hopefully, yeah, you guys can come along and be a part of that. Now, I'm actually not going to take us through forms today, just because of time. But I do encourage you to go in and actually, where are we? Where are you guys? 1:40. So it's nearly, yeah, it's almost 2:30 here. So I do encourage you to go back and explore forms and have a bit of a play with that in the channel and watch some of the videos and other bits and pieces, because it really is a good time saver. Now, I'm going to just share with you a couple of things. First of all, I have a series of webinars that you can access at aka.ms/TroyYT. Those webinars, you'll see that there's a Department of South Australia Education Department, sorry, playlist, but there is for everyone playlist as well. There's a playlist there for the inclusive classroom and additional learning needs. So please jump in and have a look at those webinars, and that's where I do a deep dive into this stuff if you didn't want to come along to the inclusive classroom day. The other thing I wanted to share with you was you do have access to this team between now and next week and ongoing as well. So feel free to come back and play around with that. But no, that's not for you, that's for next time. The other thing I want to draw your attention to is the fact that I have social media channels. I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Facebook. And you can just go onto those tools and look for me, search me up. You'll know it's me because you'll see this little avatar here. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention is what I do on those channels is I go away and do all the digging for you. So if you follow me on Facebook, for example, I'll just start to turn up in your feed when I start posting the latest greatest stuff around Microsoft and what's happening with education technology and that kind of stuff. No photos of Lola and no photos of my own children. It's just purely work. So feel free to connect with me. Really, this is more, your Twitter people are going to be your sort of hardcore tech users. you're welcome to follow me there. LinkedIn tends to be more the leaders and more sort of the professional side, and then Facebook is sort of everybody else and the 90% of teachers and stuff. So decide if you want to follow me. But you know, as I said, it's about pushing this stuff out and making sure that you get access to it, so you don't have to go digging for it. It just starts showing up in your feed. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're actually going to wrap for the day, and I don't mean rhyming. I mean we're going to come to the end, because if we were face to face, we'd go a little bit longer, but we've been sitting in front of our computers all day and people get tired, and I get that. So what I'm going to do though is I'm just going to quickly tell you about what we're going to do, what we're going to be doing next time we come together, so you get a sense of where we're going. All right. So what we will do is we will do a very, very shallow dive into OneDrive. OneDrive is very important though. If you want to know more about OneDrive, visit the channel. Visit the channel in the team around OneDrive, or also you can visit the video, the M365 introduction for the STP, and Cindy again will let you know where to access that. But there's some really good stuff there because we did a deeper dive. We'll also look at, when we come back together, we're going to jump into Teams. So we're going to look at Teams for education for teachers. We're going to look at how to use Teams with your students, and hopefully that's going to be something that's really going to grab you, and hopefully a lot of you are going to do that with your projects, but we'll see. The other thing that we will look at is we will examine, let me scrolling down here, we'll look at the power of the pen when we come back together, and stylus, and why digital styluses are so important. You know, because we have a saying in Microsoft, the keyboard, the pen is mightier than the keyboard, and also don't let the keyboard get in the way of learning. So we have actually integrated, and so is Apple for what it's worth, a digital stylus. They have the Apple Pencil, and it is a really cool tool for learning when combined with the computer and multimedia and all that kind of stuff. So we'll dive into that. We'll have a little bit of a play with OneNote and OneNote Class Notebook, and then we will spend a lot of time, or a fair amount of time, on the ADKAR change management model. Okay, so the ADKAR model, I told you before, let me just bring up a slide to show you what that looks like. ADKAR stands for something, which is, ADKAR stands for awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. So we're going to look at how to create an awareness for change and a desire for change in the staff, right? And we're going to be thinking about that, but then also knowledge, which is the training. What usually happens is schools go straight to this. Straight to training without people understanding why, or actually helping them to understand why they need to change and then choosing to change, right? And then we'll be looking at ability and making sure that everyone's up to scratch, and we'll also be looking at reinforcement as well. And then that's going to be a big part of your project, okay, which we will unpack. But your project, let me come down here. Your project is going to look, no, that's the wrong one. Give me a minute. I'm on the wrong screen, apologies. So your project, what you're going to do is you're going to consider the apps in the category and removing them from, crawl, walk, run. And then you're going to do things like thinking about executive sponsorship, building awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement for your project, right? And that's actually going to be part of your plan. You're going to make sure that you're building proper change management into what you're doing. Okay. And then once we've done the project and we understand that, we're going to, I'll show you all the resources that you've got available to you for moving people. We're going to look at the Edu Tracker. You're going to get certified as MIE trainers. And then you'll, in the last chunk of the day, you'll actually go away and start working on your project. So you will get a little bit of time to start working on your project together. And so, yeah, that's what that will look like. So that's what day 2 is going to look like. And hopefully day 1's been okay. But otherwise, I'll stop talking and see you guys next time, yeah? I'll hang around for the next 5 minutes or so. Please feel free to just drop off the call if you're done. But if you have any questions that are burning, stay on the chat and I'll talk with you now. Otherwise, my friends, I'll see you all next week.